Amazon account is up and running now. We are selling our formula officially. It's amazing stuff from Europe.
Made in Germany. Sold in America.
Highest standards there are. In America, the standards haven't been updated since 1980. It's super weird, like older than me. In Europe, they update safety standards basically every year. This formula is top notch, great for the stomach, great for constipation. This is a great product. If you happen to want to purchase it and join us on our journey, then grab the link in the description. If you do and leave a review for us, send me a screenshot at vinandsori@gmail.com of your review after you have received the product. We will put your name in a hat. Song reviews are going to come out by some of the people that have left reviews. Don't forget to send us a screenshot of your review once you get the product. Now a word from our mascot dressed as a pirate, Fuji.
It's a steal of a deal.
A melancholy Christmas extravaganza!
Is in the works. Carol of St. Benjamin is up next, the bearded one.
Yes, sir. Is there a little...
Yep, so Negative says, this is another original song recorded in 2006. I'm not certain what to make of the lyrics. And it's another one of those where no one online seems to know either. Oh, good. We're glad you're on the job, babe. It'll be neat to see how you interpret them. Okay.
All right. Well, let me get my lyrics first. Oh, are the lyrics up there already?
Yeah, they're already up right up there on Trello.
See what you did there. Yeah. Carol of St. Benjamin. Okay. Carol of St. Benjamin.
That was Negative Vibes. He sent me the email all perfectly.
Thank you so much. Not to put any pressure on anybody, but it does so much for us when you already have the lyrics there.
Yep.
But no issue with any other DJs.
We're not complaining.
We're not complaining. All right, guys, here we go. Sufjan Stevens, Carol of St. Benjamin, the bearded one.
Okay.
Let's find out.
I can see you there, oh, in the snowbank with the snowman at your side. And in my heart and in my spirit, I can see the things you want in life you have to really need. This is a matter of life. Challenge me. This is a matter of life. Oh, be kind to me. Oh, Benjamin who keeps his hands inside his sleeves. And in my heart and in my spirit, I can read the way he brushed his beard against the cedar tree, keeping his eyes upon me. I can see you, oh, in the snowbank with a snowman at your side. And in my heart and in my spirit, I can see the things you want in life you have to really need.
Okay.
That was extremely beautiful.
Yeah. Every time he went
ridiculously
high-
beautiful harmonies.
Yeah.
There's something very sweet about this dude's voice.
Yeah, I agree.
And there's something almost like childlike about this dude. It's really weird. Like, I mean, obviously he's a grown ass man. I don't know when he wrote this song, but there's something about this kid, this guy that's childlike the way that he is.
And
I don't.
that's a positive thing in our worldview.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, again, kind of interesting. Brings up his parents again. And this was part of a Christmas record, but there, it seems that he had a not so good relationship with his dad. But I mean, we saw that in the previous song. But it's just interesting. Okay, so what hit you about that song?
Lyrically, I didn't really have an understanding of what was going on, but vocally, those notes that he hit and with the women's voices in the background, that was so beautiful. It was almost entrancing. I really, really enjoyed that. And the way when his voice would take the high note and they were in the background, those were my definite favorite spots. And there's a sort of oddness to the way that he sings, like the way that he kind of like, I don't know, what he does with his voice. And I like stuff that's a little bit seems off, and this song kind of captured that. And it made me think, I'm like, man, negative vibes. If we're ever around you and you have a Christmas party, you better invite us. You got some good music. It looks a little sad on some of them, but
Yeah. So that song we did was Kashmir Pulaski Day,
okay.
and it looked to be about like reconciling his religion with his sexuality, because I think he's talking about, I don't know if it's talking about, I remember at Michael's house in the living room when you kissed my neck and I almost touched your blouse. So remember there was like some back and forth that happened, and then like his mom, there was something about religion and his mom and all the rest of it, or his dad or whoever it was. That was a girl. Okay, that one was about the girl who died of cancer while he was growing up. Okay, jeez. I see. Okay, all right. So Carol of Saint Benjamin, I see you there. Oh, in the snowbank, with a snowman at your side. In my heart, in my spirit, I concede that the things you want in life, you have to really need. This is a matter of life. What did you think that was? That to me seemed to be the crux of the song. That lyric right there.
I don't know, because all I picture was, somebody that just made a snowman sitting beside the snowman and someone's looking out at them. But when he said, in my heart and in my spirit, I concede, I thought it was like, if you don't need things and you get a bunch of things that you don't need, like it changes you to be a certain type of person. If you have genuine needs and those needs get met, it can make you a grateful person. But sometimes if you're in the other situation, it doesn't really work. So I thought it was like maybe that he's saying it's a matter of life. The way that you can live the best is if you're not. I don't really know. What did you get from it?
It looks like when he says the things you want in life you have to really need. You know how sometimes people are like, yeah, you want it, but you don't want it bad enough.
Yeah.
So like if you want something, it's like optional. Whereas if you need something, it's not optional.
No. Yeah.
And if a person needs something, they're more likely to get it because they're operating with a more desperate sort of, it's like coming out of the sauna. Like you're gonna get water. You know what I'm saying? Like, or if you can't get to water, you're gonna get something. I don't need, like, I'm not gonna die like in that moment.
Right.
Like I know for a fact I'm not gonna die in that moment. You know what I'm saying? But you get to the point where you want something so bad that the difference between need and want becomes blurred.
Yeah.
So I think that
I think that's true.
That is a point of the song, and then it says this is a matter of life. So it's like, okay, if you have that as your philosophy, then you're going to get the things that you want, but you can't keep wanting a whole bunch of stuff because you cannot apply that intensity to everything in life.
Yeah.
So then the next line, only parents cry when they want to show the world that they're still alive.
Yeah.
So that is fascinating.
Is he saying that basically like all the adults, the parents, they've all deadened themselves, they're all dead inside, and so they'll like let something
that
get in.
display of emotion
It's just so they can trick people into thinking that they're still
not
alive.
Trick people, show people that they're still kicking in there. Whereas kids cry, but the cry is genuine. There's no like ulterior motive. There's no like goal. It's just when a kid cries, it's because it's funny because if you stack the two verses on top of each other, a little kid cries especially when they don't get what they want, because little kids can't tell the difference between a want and a need. Right. So little kids, when they cry, a lot of the times is they're crying because they didn't get something that they want. But when parents when parents are crying, they're crying because they want to show the world that they still have, that the world hasn't completely deadened them, that they still have a soul kicking around in there. And so then you think to yourself, yeah, but like, is that the genuine crying though? Like we're watching the show right now, and the guy like went to the gravestone of his family member, and like you always have to question like, why is he really doing this? Because he's a lovable guy, but he's so disingenuous that you don't really know why he's doing what he's doing. So I am assuming that he had, if you look at his dad, his dad was a pretty mean guy. Obviously, he threw all the Christmas presents in the wood stove. Yeah, I've never heard it. I still can't believe that he did that. So yeah, it seems to me that the difference between being a child and being an adult, and it looks like he wants to remain on the child side, obviously.
When he said the draft beneath the door frame comes to challenge me, this is a matter of life. Well, what are you talking about there? Why? It seems so random.
Well, I think that's still going with the whole want versus need thing, because the draft beneath the door it's an inconvenience. It's not something that's going to kill you. It's not something that's going to... It's just inconvenient to have a draft by the door. We grew up with that shit, like, all in the hood. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's drafts all the time, and we open the oven. Oven and try to heat up the house.
Open the oven?
It's not a life or death situation if there's a draft. It's a challenge. Yeah, but it's not life or death. But again, as a kid, those issues become so much... Everything is bigger when you're a kid. And so... I still see some continuity there, because the next thing is these to me seems to be about life's wisdom. So the first one is about the things you want in life you have to really need, meaning you have to want it bad enough. And then the second one is the draft beneath the door frame comes to challenge me, basically saying look at these hard situations as challenges. Like, grow up, dude. It's a draft underneath the door. You're not going to die. It's inconvenient. It's uncomfortable, but take it as a challenge and go for it. So that's how I looked at that.
Yeah, that's true, because you could go for it. One could be you get mentally stronger than it and you realize that it's not really that significant. You're going to be fine. Or you take the challenge of saying, okay, I'm going to apply my wisdom to see if I can fix this issue. But either way, you're doing something to change that situation. Yeah.
Be kind to me, oh Benjamin, who keeps his eyes inside his hands inside his sleeves. I like that rhyme scheme. Kind to me, inside his sleeves. And the way that he sang it definitely rhymed. Be kind to me, oh Benjamin, who keeps his hands inside his sleeve. And in my heart and in my spirit I can read the way he brushed his beard against the cedar tree, keeping his eyes upon me. Go ahead.
That just sounded creepy, because then like I just couldn't figure out what the song was about, because then I'm picturing like this old man who's like straightening his, like brushing his beard with the bark of a cedar tree and looking at this person, which just sounded creepy. Yeah,
keeping his eyes upon me. Yeah. But he's saying be kind. So I don't know if that's his dad. Maybe his dad's name was Benjamin, or maybe the dad's middle name is Benjamin. Benjamin.
Yeah.
Benjamin means like son of sorrow or something like that. Because what's her face? Rachel died in childbirth.
Yep.
And she named, I think the midwife named him like son of my suffering, and then they changed it to Benjamin. But
they changed it to Benjamin, which
because she initially called him son of my sorrow, and the midwife was like,
wait a minute,
because she knew she was dying.
Yeah.
So the midnight last second changed the name. I believe his dad was named Rashid Stevens, but it could be a reference to him still. Yeah. I think Rashid. I think maybe it's his father. The way he brushed his beard against the cedar tree, keeping his eyes upon me. Yeah. And his dad's out there in the snowbank with a snowman at his side. It's like, that's a childlike thing. It's like, hey Dad, we're having this moment where like I can be a kid and you can be an adult like a traditional family would.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then he starts dealing with how he deals with difficulties in his life. The things you want in life you have to really need. Maybe he's saying he really needs his dad to like show up and be a dad.
That's what I was wondering, if that's what that one was. Yeah.
Because he's saying be kind to me.
And he pictured him in that snowman spot.
Yeah, and
when
he's
he
saying
said keeps his hands inside his sleeves, is he talking about himself? Like,
he's talking about Benjamin, who keeps his hands inside his sleeves.
And you think Benjamin's the dad?
I think Benjamin is probably a code for his father.
Okay.
Because, like, again, he's saying be kind, and based on the content, especially in the previous song, his father, it looked like his father just flew off at the handle at times and did crazy shit. And so it looks like here, it doesn't look like there was a lot of time for him to, like, be just a kid around his dad. So the whole snowbank thing, like, at least, I don't know if he built it. I mean, he's got his hands in his sleeves, so maybe he's trying to warm his hands up because he actually built the snowman. And he's saying, hey, this is great. This is a moment where you could be a dad to me, And he's saying, you brush your beard against the cedar tree, keeping his eyes on me because he didn't want to take his hands out of his jacket. So he brushed the beard off on the cedar tree. Now, that could also be a metaphor for, because how people say so-and-so wears their hearts on their sleeves, but he keeps it inside. He's keeping his, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So he's so, like, reserved that he won't, again, pull his hands out to wipe out his beard. He wipes it against the trees because it just shows, like, how committed he is to keeping his hands inside of his pockets. And I don't know if that means, look, kid, this is a once-in-a-lifetime thing where I'm going to build a snowman for you, so I'm keeping my hands in here. Like, this is never going to happen again. You know what I'm saying? Or if it's a deeper metaphor of, look, you're only going to get this much access or closeness to me. Everything, I'm going to be compact otherwise, and it doesn't matter what's going on outside. I'm not going to let you in. My hands are going to be in, it's kind of a defensive position. So, yeah, that's what it looks like to me. It looks like his relationship with his dad and the wisdom that basically he had to learn on his own because his dad wasn't giving him that kind of guidance, but that he wanted so desperately that affection from his dad that it was indistinguishable from a need. And that's the other thing that a lot of fathers don't understand. Like, that connection is not a want from your kid. Like, the kid's got like all these appointments with me. We're driving, we talk, and things like that. Like, those are not wants.
Yeah.
Those are needs. But what happens with a lot of dads, especially like old school dads, it's like, when I was growing up, I didn't get all this and blah blah blah. As long as I'm providing. Like, I was looking at this blog from this. She's a very famous, in my opinion, toxic evangelical woman who's, it seems like her sole purpose is to get women to submit to their husbands, but whatever. But she says, anytime a woman comes to me and says that they're having problems, I ask them, has he cheated on you? And is he providing? And she says, if the woman says yes to both those questions, I tell her to go home and basically look within yourself and see what's wrong with you, because that's basically all the man needs to do. And I just, so when you have that mentality,
You're saying if he didn't cheat.
If he didn't cheat on you and if he's bringing home the bacon, you got nothing to complain about. So there's a lot of dudes with that kind of mentality, right? So it's like, oh, hey, I'm supposed to provide for you and protect you as a father. So that's the necessities. Mm-hmm. You wanting to talk to me about your day. You want to talk about baseball. You want girl advice. That's a want. That's not a need.
Yeah, I do. A lot of people.
And I don't think that that's true.
No, I agree. I think it's really healthy for kids to be able to have those conversations.
They need that guidance from their dad.
And I can see like they do need you. Like even like with the little ones, I can see it when they're like I can see when they need dad time.
Yeah, it's yeah. And in our modern age, it's this. There's not a lot of hope for kids because in the modern age now we're so progressive that we could just like mix and match parents. The dad doesn't matter if dad's there. It doesn't matter, because as long as two people love each other, blah blah blah, we don't need a dad or we don't need a mom. That's just ridiculous, and you wait. We're not gonna be around to see it, but there's gonna be a whole generation of really fucked up people because we were so smart. We outsmarted. Look, you could say outsmarted God, outsmarted evolution. You know, you could say, look, God made it so that there's no way that a child could come into the world without a mom and a dad. Or you could say natural selection made it so that our species has to reproduce in this way. However you want to slice it, dads are important. Yeah, but you know, a lot of times, like society abdicates dad from the emotional side of caretaking. And I think building the snowman, I think the metaphor of the hands being inside.
Maybe that means he went so long
being guarded. Yeah, but
because if you go too long playing with the snow, then your hands get really cold, and then you would have to pull them in. So like maybe that's the only time his father went all out for him because he built in that snowman and he couldn't take his hands out because they were so freaking cold. Yeah,
that's possible. The only thing is that the ask is not very big. The ask is just be kind to me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So like if you like went all out like that, then you know I would assume there'd be like another kind of celebration. I just think that this guy is a very deeply metaphorical thinker. So even though there's probably a very practical reason the hands were in the jacket, I also think it's a metaphor of like his closed offness to his kid. That's how I interpret it.
Yeah.
Hell of a and you know that dad. If it's about the dad, that's a hell of a Christmas memory. Like back to back. So on the one hand, we have a Christmas memory of him dumping the presents into the fire, and then the next thing we have a memory of, hey, he built a snowman. He's outside. You know what I'm saying? But he's still closed off, and the most you can ask for is just be kind. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of sad. Like even when the dad goes and actually, the dad does love his kid, I think. You know, but it's one of those things where he's got his own issues, and the dad's not aware of his own issues, so he can't be emotionally available to his son as much as I think he should be. Or Benjamin is just a friend down the street that he built snowmen with, and I'm completely wrong. So there's that. I really like this song. This is a 9.3 for me.
Oh, 9.2 for me.
Sufjan Stevens, dear listener. We are coming right back with more goodness.
Lonely Man of Winter up
Lonely
next.
Man of Winter. Vin and Sori, Sufjan Stevens, Negative Vibes. We in here. Vin out.
Sori out.
Go.